My name is Justin Lehmiller. I am a research fellow at the Kinsey Institute. I am also author of the blog Sex and Psychology, and I just wrote a book called Tell Me What You Want. In this brief video, I'd like to tell you a little bit about why I wrote this book and why I think you are definitely going to want to read it. So in the United States, we have a very difficult time talking about sex, and that includes talking about our sexual desires and turn-ons with our partners. And it's interesting when you think about it, because in the US, sex is kind of everywhere in the popular media, but no one really wants to talk about it, even with the people they're actually having sex with. And that's obviously problematic, because if we can't tell our partners what it is that we actually want, it makes it a lot less likely that we're going to get what we want when it comes to sex. And as a result, we may be less sexually satisfied, and we might also develop trouble and conflict and difficulties in our relationships. So what I wanted to do was to write a book that would make it easier for people to talk about sex, to break down those barriers that prevent us from communicating about our desires with our partners, and also just to help people better understand themselves, what their sexual fantasies are, where they come from, and what a normal sexual fantasy is, if there is such a thing. So in the book, Tell Me What You Want, it is based around the largest and most comprehensive survey of sexual fantasies ever conducted in the United States. In fact, I spent almost 2 years surveying more than 4,000 Americans from all 50 states about their deepest sexual desires. The book is broken up into different sections. One of them looks at what are we fantasizing about today in the US? So I extracted 7 major themes that characterize the nature of sexual desire today, and I talk about what each of those themes are and where they come from. So to what extent are our fantasies influenced by the culture in which we are embedded? To what extent are they products of our evolutionary history? I also look at what your sexual fantasies might say about you. So to what extent are your fantasies a reflection of your unique combination of personality traits and sexual experiences so far? I also look at how our sexual fantasies differ across various segments of the population. So who's fantasizing about what, and why do different groups of people maybe have different fantasies? So I look at, for example, how men's and women's fantasies are similar versus different. Also, how fantasies vary across different sexual orientations, different ages, different political backgrounds, and religious affiliations. All of that is in the book. In addition to better understanding the science of sexual desire, this book also has a big self-help component. So part of the book looks at how do we talk to our partners about our sexual fantasies. So I surveyed my participants extensively about what their experiences with this were like. And also, for those who had never shared a fantasy with a partner, what were the main things that were holding them back? I did this so that I could identify those barriers in order to lay the groundwork for helping to break them down. So there are lots of tips and guides and icebreakers in there for making it easier for you to share your fantasies with a partner. And for those who might be interested in making the leap from fantasy to reality, what do you need to know there? And are there any fantasies that you should never try to turn into reality? And spoiler alert, yes. But for those fantasies that are safe, sane, legal, and mutually consensual, what do you need to know to help increase the odds of a mutually pleasurable and satisfying experience for all parties involved? So there are also lots of tips and guides in there for people who want to make that leap from fantasy to reality. So hopefully this book will answer any and all questions you've ever had about sexual fantasies. Like I said, there's a lot that's in there, and I really hope that you will go out and get a copy and that you will learn a lot, and that this book will help lay the groundwork for a more satisfying sex life in the future, as well as happier and healthier sexual and romantic relationships. So thanks, and happy reading.